evening, we're going to call the school board meeting of March 28th to order. Sarah, please call the roll.
Allen. Here. Haas.
Here.
McKeon.
Here.
Romansky. Here. Swanson.
Good evening.
Tucker. Here. And Bowerman.
Yes, ma'am. So I'd like to think that suddenly the school board's become very popular. That or you had an assignment to come to the school board meeting, I don't know which. But actually tonight is going to be a lot of fun for us on the school board because we get to honor probably 80% of the folks sitting in the audience tonight, and that's a lot of fun for us. So if you'll bear with me for a few minutes, we're going to call several groups up and several individuals up and recognize you for some tremendous achievements. And I think we're going to start tonight with the wrestling team. And several members we're going to recognize individually. I see them kind of scattered throughout. See the coach in the back. You guys probably all know this if you followed the news that the wrestling team had a tremendous year. They advanced to the section final match. They did lose to Apple Valley. You know, boo hiss, but they are quite the powerhouse in wrestling. But we had 6 individuals qualify for the state tournament, including a couple who won the state championship. So I'm going to welcome up Coach Jackson. If you want to come on up and talk about your players, your wrestlers. Yeah, make them stand up. Make them stand up. They got to come forward.
That's right, they do. They don't
have to weigh in.
They usually
But
don't
they
listen.
gotta
Lightest to heaviest. That's how I got to do this. I can't function like you. The heaviest. I can't function unless I'm there. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. First of all, I want to say thank the board for having our kids up here and recognize this. I want to congratulate all the other teams. The swim team, I have 3 or 4 of those guys in class, and so I asked them to follow their results throughout the year, and then obviously Taylor and her accomplishments. I see her, and she's in my study hall, so I talked to her about basketball. So we've got some really great athletes up here. Bill Farmer, you should come up here too, please. Come on. Bill's been part of the program for a long time. So, matter of fact, I'll start with Bill. Bill's been around numerous years, and he also he did a lot for the whole community and for the program, but he was also voted assistant section coach of the year. So that was nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on that. Tyler Jones right here and his brother Brent Jones are the parents of Jenny and Bryce. I think Jenny's here, so there. Tyler was a state qualifier at 106 pounds. Brent he captured his 3rd state title this year, which is really impressive. I think in Shakopee community, I don't think anybody's been a 3-timer before. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. So he's a 3, and he's got 1 year left. So hopefully next year, he will. He's a junior this year, so hopefully he'll get that 4th one next year. So congratulations to him. Alex Crow, excuse me. His mom's here, Nancy, right there, and her dad, Rob. He's a 3-time state place winner, and kind of an interesting thing. He got where they seeded the wrestling tournament for the first time this year, and I don't like to use the word unfair, but he got a little bit of a tough draw. And the kid that ended up winning the state tournament, he beat 3-0 in the Christmas tournament. So he ended up 3rd this year. So really a great season. He lost 3 times and was a state 3rd place finisher. So that's tremendous. Congratulations. Alex Lloyd right here was a 145-pounder. He was a state champion. And I can actually give him a little bit of, I call him Stumpy because I'm a little bit taller than him. Just a little. Just a little. Not very many people, but he's one of them. So anyway, and next is Emmett Wagner. Emmett's a senior, one of our captains, and he was a 3rd place finisher in our team this year. And then, so congratulations. Emmett's been around a long time and had a great season, great state tournament. So really proud of his efforts, and also a very good student. And then we have Carson Pasusta, and I said that wrong, didn't I? Pasusta. Did I say that right? There we go. He's a state qualifier this year, so hopefully, just want to say these guys had a great season. We did hit things at the right time. We did lose. I must say this because I used to be at Apple Valley, but we only lost it by 10 only. I shouldn't say we lost it 10 points by Valley in the section final. No one's done that since in 25 years. So really, no one's done that. They come that close. You know, the only school that got this close this year was St. Michael. They were like 7 away or 6 away. So the kids really did wrestle well at the end of the season, and that's a tribute to the coaching staff and all the kids, their hard work. So just really proud of these kids, and hopefully next year we can keep on, just keep going. Hopefully get better every year. So thank you very much. You guys, any questions?
Hopefully I got these in the right order.
Okay.
Congratulations, Tyler. Yep, there we go.
Can I say something real quick? I forgot to thank our athletic director, John Jenkins. He was very supportive. I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all your support. It means a lot. One time he texted me, he said, I'm right behind you at the state tournament. So I turned behind me, he's 3 seats behind me. So I was glad to see it. It was nice to see him there. So, what's that? Somebody else.
All right, I just have you guys just get a little closer together in one little stack over there by your coach. If you need to do 2 rows, that's okay.
Turn shoulders, yeah. That's what we have to do. Get in there, coach.
Matt,
Yep,
with the lines just a little
You
bit
got it.
more. There you go.
thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
There
there
you
you go.
Multi-talent.
All right, right here, guys.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Don't move, you're gonna have to move again. Okay. All right, we go from the wrestling mat to the swimming pool. We're gonna recognize the Shakopee boys swimming and diving team, the state qualifiers in particular. And for those of you who don't know, our team's relatively new, and they had, according to the notes that I was given, the best finish in our swimming and diving team's history. They finished 15th in the state, which is a phenomenal outcome. So Coach Eric Hill is gonna come on up and talk about his student athletes. And then you can bring them all in front too.
All right, so I'd like to just start by thanking the board for having us in today. You know, recognizing these guys and the tremendous season that they had. You know, you mentioned that our program is pretty young. This is the 8th year of the program. I've been the head coach for the last 6 years. You know, a couple of these guys have been with me for 5 of those 6 years. And I think, you know, those guys can say, looking back on where we were 6 years ago or 5 years ago when they started, to where we are now it's pretty incredible. And it really has a lot to do with not only the guys up here, but just the hard work that these guys have. Not only just during our season, but they're working on all year round to make themselves better athletes. So, you know, these guys, they deserve a lot of credit for how far we've come. I'll start by introducing these guys. Right here we have Josh Clem. He's one of our seniors. He qualified in the 400 freestyle relay. He was a tremendous athlete for us in our distance events as well as some of our sprints this season. He was an alternate on our 200 medley relay and then was on our 400 freestyle relay that took 14th in state this year. Next to him here we have Hunter Greenhall, another one of our seniors. Both of these guys were captains, by the way. And Hunter was on our 200 medley relay. He was the breaststroker. And he helped our relay take 7th in the state, which was our all-state relay. The next 4 guys were on that relay as well. And by the way, I did a little research and found out that that relay actually placed in like the top 50 all-time in the state history. So pretty tremendous swim. We know that too. We're hoping to be there next year as well with that same relay. So next to him here we have Liam, who's a 9th grader. It's his first year on the team. Next to him we have Liam Bergerson. He's a 9th grader. It's his first year on the team. He came in and immediately really made a great impact on our team in backstroke. That kind of been a missing link for us on that relay. Came in and did a really nice job with that. Not only did he make it in the 200 medley relay, but he also was in the 100 backstroke individual. He made a state cut in that, and then he was also in the 400 freestyle relay. So he was there for 3 events. Next to him is Alex Kraft. He's a 10th grader. This is his, 4th year on the team? No. Can I count? Yeah, 4th. And Alex qualified for the 50 freestyle, 100 freestyle, was part of that medley relay and the 400 freestyle relay. So he was there for 4 events at the state meet. And next to him is Hans Hover. He's a junior. Hans had a really great season coming along with his butterfly. He was a part of the medley relay as the butterflyer, and he also was in the 400 freestyle relay as well. So again, really hard-working group of guys here, some great leaders and our seniors here, and we're really excited about the future of our team. As we know, we've been growing and getting better every year. Last year we were 43rd in state, this year 15th, and I know when we're looking to next year, we're thinking top 10, maybe. So, you know, these guys have been putting in the hard work to get us there.
Congratulations.
forgot to mention one thing. We have one guy that's not here with us tonight. He was our diver. He qualified. He took second in our section and moved on to the state meet for the second time. And he took, I was going to say 12th, but 11th overall, you're right. At the state meet, Josh Tice isn't here with us today, but I just wanted to recognize him as well. And both of my assistant coaches, they're married. They weren't able to make it here. They're out of town. But I just wanted to acknowledge them too as well. Jared and Beth Newhart, been tremendous coaches for me. I've had them with me for the last 3-4 years, and just that continuity in coaching has really helped our program grow too.
Thanks, Coach. I'll give you that to give to Josh. Thanks. All right, this one I get to do all by myself. Taylor, come on up. No coach. You just have to listen to me try to talk about it. I doubt I have to introduce you to just about anybody this time, as famous as you are, but it is fantastic. But I actually am going to use the notes because the number of accomplishments this young lady has racked up is just phenomenal. So we're here to recognize Taylor for many things that you've done. Among those are the fact that she leads all basketball student athletes in Shakopee in scoring. First one to go over 2,000, only one to go over 2,000 points, as I understand it. Has a number of school records that, records are meant to be broken, but who knows how long they're going to last, and probably quite a while. But here's the kinds of things that Taylor has been recognized for. Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Minnesota. The Associated Press Player of the Year. Star Tribune's Metro Player of the Year. You're currently a finalist for Miss Basketball from the state of Minnesota. I just saw this on the paper. I'm not even sure exactly, do I call it the Athena Award? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Just got that, right? That was in the paper today. Not even in my notes. How about that, Matt? I'm trying.
You're a good wingman, man.
I'm trying. And of course, Taylor's moving on to North Carolina, where hopefully North Carolina Tar Heels can do something about Connecticut, perhaps, down the road. So Taylor has done some tremendous things. Has been a great representative for Shakopee, student athlete all the way around, and so we're very, very proud of Taylor. So congratulations on behalf of the school.
Taylor, can I say something?
Sure.
My husband and I both applied to North Carolina when we were seniors. Neither one of us got in, I thought we would. We have been waiting till we knew a real human being in Minnesota that got into North Carolina. And we're really, really proud of you because we were the first one in 25 years. Congratulations.
All right, the next person we want to highlight is not here. That's Stefan Mitchell, who could not be here tonight. He had another commitment. We want to recognize him as well, and I'd already given the certificate back to Matt to make sure that he gets to it. But Stefan, similar to Taylor in some respects, has a number of school records for boys basketball. He leads as the boys' all-time scoring leader. He was named a Mr. Basketball finalist for the state. He didn't win that, but he was a finalist. First team All-State by the Associated Press, first team All-Metro by the Star Trib. So we also, in absentia, want to give a shout out and congratulations to Stefan Mitchell. So let's do that. All right, Elise. Where's Elise? Come on up. I wonder if there's any coaches in telling these, so you gotta listen to me talk. But this is Elise Weir. If you don't know Elise, and she's an 8th grader, right, at West Junior High. And so we're recognizing her because she is qualified for the very prestigious, I'm sure you've heard of it, the Scripps National Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. She's going to represent Shakopee. She won this by the South Central Service Cooperative Regional Spelling Bee. Just that alone is a mouthful. And that was back in February. You beat out 42 other competitors, right? 17 rounds to win. And you won by correctly spelling a word. And no, I'm not going to ask you guys or the board how to spell this. Mercerize. Have you heard the word before?
Yeah.
Really? recognize Elise for this outstanding accomplishment and to wish her well. When is the contest in DC?
It's the week of May 22nd to the 28th.
Okay, so you'll be out there representing. All of us back here will be cheering you on. So congratulations to Elise. All right, just to show that we continue to be well-rounded here in Shakopee, we're now going to move to a music category. I'm going to represent or recognize some musicians here in Shakopee, and I think is C in the room? Who's hiding back there? Our band director of bands, Mr. Christensen's going to come on up. Why don't you bring everybody forward and describe their accomplishments? Hunter's a double threat, obviously.
First student I'd like to recognize is Nathan Henches, was selected by audition process to the Minnesota Band Director's 9-10 Honor Band. And to put that in perspective, out of the entire state, of all the 19th 10th graders involved in band, they took 6 percussionists. And considering there's over 40,000 students in band across the state, if you think about those percentages, that's pretty selective. And he's one of 6 across the entire state selected by that process. And he's actually Shakopee's first representative to that group in about 5 years. Because it's very hard to get students in that group. So Nathan Henches was selected to that group, and he'll perform in April with the group. The other group, we've got some representatives of, I just realized this last couple weeks, this is the 10th year that the Shakopee High School Wind Ensemble's been in existence. That is our audition band group that students in grades 10 through 12 can audition to be part of. They've always done well, but this year they took it to the next level. The group received their first perfect score at Large Group Contest and was a single point from a single judge on the panel from getting their first best of sight in region history. So they came very, very close, and if we had a different set of judges, we may have gotten there, but our first perfect score, and we're 1 point away from our first best of sight. And representing that group are their 3 elected officers. Alon Henches is the Wind Ensemble president. Ribu Inturi is the, I make sure I get this right, you are the treasurer, right? Mm-hmm. And Hunter Greenhall is the band secretary.
Congratulations. There you go, guys. It's good to see you. We won't make you stay unless you really want to. So feel free if you want to sneak out. Otherwise, we're going to continue with our meeting.
Takers? Come on.
Give me the certificate back. Probably a little.
That's what I always figured.
Yeah.
Of course, the only people here are those that have to be. They have no choice. Remember, we're not here for a good time, we're here for a long time. All right. Sit around the table. All right, do we have any visitors at the meeting who would care to speak to the board?
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Congratulations, John.
Appreciate the support and recognition. It means a lot.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, yes, Kathy.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that we have our groundbreaking for our community center on Friday, to make sure everybody's there at 4:30 at the community center, so.
Very good. move on to our agenda. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? I think everything got communicated this afternoon to the board, so the agenda is pretty much as presented. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sean. Second?
Second.
Mary, second. Thank you. Any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We have our agenda consent. Do we have any adjustments or changes to consent?
No adjustments.
Okay. We have a motion to approve consent.
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Second? Thank you, Angela. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Don't say anything but aye.
You'll make the same sound all night.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, let's go in order.
Yeah, I think everyone here will be here through the whole event, so.
All right, Ford Next Generation Learning Update, and I think actually a number of us are going to talk about this. So if anybody, actually us up here talking, so nobody needs to come forward. You want me to start?
Sure.
So Wednesday night? Wednesday night.
Yes.
Yeah, Wednesday night. We had kind of a formal kickoff to the steering committee. The steering committee is made up of about 15 to 20 people.
Yes.
Yeah, largely community members, but more importantly, really business community members, folks in the community who play roles in the business world, because we're looking for ways to obviously enrich the learning for our students in our district, and we're trying to do that just through all the academy elements and partnering with NGL for Next Generation Learning, but looking for ways to get those kids integrated, acclimated with our business community. And so we're very, very fortunate to have some extremely influential people serving on the steering committee. So our first meeting was Wednesday night. We didn't cover actually a lot of ground in terms of content, because it was more get to know one another. A lot of us knew each other anyway. But it was kind of, what are we going to do? What are we going to try to accomplish? What's the road map? Actually, it's up on the screen. So we're going to be meeting regularly for some time. And if you think about it, this is a steering committee. It's trying to provide some oversight to this entire process, to provide some guidance and direction. There's going to be a number of other ways that the administration, the district, the staff, the board, the community can get involved. But the steering committee is going to try to be this cohesive hub, the wheel, if you will. I don't think we'll take the time to go through the roadmap, but we're early in the process. I think that we're fortunate that we're probably a little accelerated maybe because of our involvement with the school district in Nashville, the attendance we've had down there, the fact we were committed to the academy concept even before really signing on with NGL. But I'm very excited about where we're taking education here in Shakopee, and this is all part. We're all excited about the new building. I mean, that's great, but it's what happens inside the building is really what matters. And this is the stuff that's happening inside the building and outside the building that's really going to be cool. So that's about all I'll say about this.
Okay, the next one topic is the Chamber of Commerce, which is a convening organization request. So the next morning, Thursday morning, we met with board members from the Chamber of Commerce with the request that they become what's called the convening organization. That group would take, for example, the occupations that are in demand. So you take a look at the 7-county metro area, and you would look at what jobs require an AA, what jobs require an MA, what jobs are, according to the state, $57,000 and above, kind of those career jobs. And the state of Minnesota has already done the research and has the data to what are the jobs that our kids, or careers that our kids could look at when they graduate from high school, then from all the various steps. And what we really try to do, to Reggie's point, is we work with our local businessmen and women to identify, if you wanted to, for example, graduate from Shakopee, attend school, and come back and serve the community that you grew up in, there is actually the opportunity, but if you don't have the careers, you might not have the right choices in place. So what this group, we've asked them to do, and they're considering this request, is serve as the eyes and ears of the business community, and then even more so, help us as businessmen and women to help tailor our curriculum and help tailor choice offerings so all classes lead to a path. All classes lead to something that can lead to students being career and college ready. I have nothing but positive to say about the group. Lots of terrific questions, tough questions that they asked, and I do feel really positive that they serve that purpose as being the convening organization. Then in that I guess it would have been that afternoon, I'll turn it over to Sean because For Next Generation Learning met with our communications committee, which you serve on.
At our meeting, it was the communications team and Rick and Star, and we started the meeting off by doing an exercise on what is an academy and what is not an academy. And it was interesting because everybody in the room was very educated on what an academy is, but the real task will be how to communicate that out to our community in a way that's clear, concise, and doesn't leave a lot of misunderstandings or miscommunications out there. We also learned a little bit more about Ford's role in this process, which will be another key point that we will have to communicate very well to our community. They've got 20 years of experience, 20 plus years of experience transforming high schools from traditional learning models to academies. So it's pretty exciting to be able to have their knowledge and run with it. So that's our job, right, Mayor?
And then the last part of this agenda topic was phase 3. We met with the school counselors with For Next Generation Learning. We met with the entire staff from the high school. We met with all the principals, and we met with the cabinet. Each one talking about, and if you look at that phase 3 up there, and thank you for the help with my compliance needs. We really do have to work not only on the internal communications, because when you're a school community of over 1,000 employees, everyone has to be able to understand what the academies are about. So the 3-year master plan, number 2 is talking about is how do we create a master plan this summer that helps us better kind of lay out the professional development and how we truly will transform the learning that takes place. We can have a beautiful building, and if we do the same old traditional type of instruction, we're going to get the same type of results. So we're looking at transforming how we do those things. And then, of course, it doesn't change our strategic directions. It should actually enhance our where we're going with our strategic directions. So we also agree on the first year of implementation, what that's going to look like, what are the priorities. We talked about what are the characteristics of a graduate, and we went through the exercise. We talked about what if we added financial literacy, one of Reggie's projects that he's talked about. And quite frankly, it's what a great conversation to build in on what we call our 6 C's, some of those soft skills and some of those things that we've really focused on in the last year or 2. And then they're not done. You could imagine the building opens in 18, and I'm sure we all collectively will have a sigh of relief that we got the building open. But then it's 2 years after that, because remember, part of this investment that I think we really have to do a better job of explaining to our community is that when For Next Generation makes us a national hub site, one of the forward expectations is that those folks that want to come from Bismarck, North Dakota, they want to come from the East Coast, the West Coast, and they're going to. We know that. Star and Rick have said they're going to come all over because having a building like this is just going to draw attention. Then in 18, 19, 19, 20, we can expect a pretty good amount of traffic coming through touring to see what is this all about. And then of course, it's our expectation if we're putting resources into this that we get a return on our investment. So we not only have this cool looking building with cool instruction going on, but they can see the results of the internships, the externships, and those kinds of things. So the return on investment not only is going heavily into our students and our business community, but it's the economic driver of staying in our hotels, eating at our restaurants, and all those kinds of things. So we'll do a great job in the coming up here, working with the communications committee, working with the chamber, working with the steering committee, in just telling the story. And because it's so brand new, the story that we tell has to be starting from phase 1, where we've been, phase 2, where we're at now, and phase 3 is the master plan. But by fall, we'll be done with that master plan, and then we start the implementation of hiring the right, people in the right seats on the bus here and getting everything put together. So even though fall of 18 seems so far away, it's coming up when you're doing master planning. So I don't know, I know you guys have been very involved in the last week or so of For Next Generation, but do you have any questions or comments about any of the For Next Generation work or anything like that? Okay. We'll have regular feedback each month because like for example, Reggie's on the steering committee, so he'll bring it back, maybe Larry and John are on communications, and so we'll keep people informed that way as well.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll move on to item 7.1. Brian, you want to come on up? This is the second reading of the Student Learning Device Deployment Plan. I don't think there were any changes from last time. Were there any questions or things that we need to follow up on, or?
Did you guys have any questions that we're still hanging on? There, I thought we did.
I didn't have it.
We're good.
Okay. All right, well, no need to belabor it, so I'm looking for a motion. A motion to accept.
Not wait for the vote? So moved.
That's an assumptive close.
I guess
right
we're in a
there.
hurry.
He drops the mic.
All right. Dap next time, right? Oh. All right. We had a motion from Matt, we now need a second.
Second.
Thank you, I think. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. We have our, let's roll that one. Go forth and do. All right, item 7.2, we're going to talk about calendars. This is the 17-18 and 18-19 calendars. We're going to act on both of those. I think, Rod, you're going to speak to
I can
this?
tee it up.
We have a couple of comments and we can talk about those.
Sure. So part of the reason we're teeing it up so far in advance is, the first one is that of course we have the building project. So in allowing parents and families the opportunity to look at the 17-18 calendar, we're trying to get as much summer work done as possible. That's the first reason, is we really do need to be flexible when it comes to construction. That's not new business in Shakopee. We've gone through that in the community before. But the second thing is it's really important, I think, to have this out there, because it's the process of developing a school calendar is somewhat of an art and somewhat of a science. The science part is we need to, for the sake of our high school in particular, the teachers at the high school, and we work with our teachers union on this, the teachers want to keep those quarters as close to or the same number of days as possible for the academic part of that. I'm sure we understand that. And then the other piece is try to apply the art of it, some common sense things, or some crafting it in a way where, we try to give 2 full weeks when we can during a holiday winter break, and then when we can't, which is the case with 17-18 because we have a condensed calendar, then we have to kind of look and think from an academic standpoint, both for the teachers and the students, is where do we pluck in those precious days where we're either working on professional development, or students get a break, staff get a break, or grading days and things like that. So we started with the teachers and the cabinet and ran it through there. Then Matt and his team ran the proposed feedback for the meeting tonight, and you all have the feedback that you received from community and parents. And we also know the art and science of calendars are that you never get a perfect calendar, and you kind of have to settle on land on a spot that works for most people. And then you get it out there far enough in advance and make exceptions. Like one of the parents that was in direct contact with me had said, well, gosh, we have a pre-planned trip to the Black Hills over, when you said we're going to start earlier or start later or whatever the scenario was. And I said, well, remember, parents have the right to excuse their kids for those kinds of things, especially in a scenario like that. And so we are prepared for exceptions to a calendar, and parental choice on, the family's got this pre-planned trip. So we're aware of that. It's an inconvenience for sure. Fortunately, this is a one-time build here, and So I guess with that, I would offer up, I'm seeking approval tonight on the second reading, knowing that we have feedback from community. You've all probably heard feedback, and we sometimes have to agree that this is where we can land so that people can plan accordingly, both academically and families as well.
What comments from the board do you care to share, if any? I'll make one. Looking at, thank you, Matt, you and your team for collecting feedback. I guess I want to dispel, unless I'm mistaken, I want to dispel one thing that was provided so that there's no confusion. We talked about concern about graduation being scheduled during Memorial Day weekend. That is not the case in either instance. So if there's any concern about that, that is not the case. Graduation in both is June 2nd, which is after Memorial Day, and June 8th, which is clearly after Memorial Day, in both cases. So we don't have a conflict there. There's probably just some confusion. And then as you said, Rod, I will emphasize two things. One is, as a parent, well, I guess you're always a parent, I should say former parent. As a
You're still there.
parent of former students in the district, having this planned out certainly makes it better for parents. So while it may not be perfect in someone's eyes, at least they can plan accordingly and try to adjust. And the second thing is, it's probably never be perfect, so I'm very comfortable where we're at. And thank you to the team for putting this together. All right, looking for a motion to accept the 17, 18, 18, 19 calendars.
So moved.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Scott. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We'll have that calendar. All right. And Sarah, those will go up on the.
Right away.
Okay, great. Anyone watching? Not yet. All right. Move on to item 7.3, staff room request. Julie, you want to come on up?
I'm gonna call him Brian. Just sit back down. That seemed to work well for him.
So you can summarize, but to Julie's credit, she shared some information with all, I think we actually got a heads up in the last meeting. This is not new. I had the chance to ask any questions that we had of Julie, but for just summation purposes, why don't you just highlight what we're doing and your request?
Sure. My request is to hire 2 additional paraprofessionals, one for Eagle Creek Elementary and one for Sweeney Elementary. Due to an increase in student need, we've had several center-based kids move into both buildings, and center-based is our highest need group of students. Typically, kids that you'd see more with that one-on-one adult support. We've had an increase across the board of 6 since Christmas break.
So we're actually seeing an increase
Yep.
in some of the need to hire parents.
Exactly, at least through the end of this year, and that's what I'm asking for these positions for, is just through the end of this year, is how we can reevaluate, and kids shift around, and people shift around, so.
Questions or comments for Julie? The comment I would make is both a thank you and then just maybe again for the benefit of the public, thank you for the very detailed information in terms of why, what this is, what it's all about, and then the cost information. I'm prone to ask about that sort of thing. And I think it's important for the community to know, anytime we hire folks, we always have a justification for it.
Yep.
We don't take that lightly. And the cost impact here is gonna be covered by federal
By our
law.
federal special education dollars.
Right, so we have dollars set aside for this kind of thing. Since we're talking about it's in March.
Right.
We're really covering this to the end of the year. So it's, and I don't want to belittle positions, but it's not a lot of dollar impact.
Yep.
It's to the tune of roughly $12,000 to $13,000. So I just want folks to know we're conscious about what we do, but this is the right thing to do, especially in light of the needs of the kids. So that's always paramount. We find a way to make it work. In this case, you've done a very nice job. finding a way to make it work. Any additional comments? All right, so I'm looking. Sorry, Mary.
Question, Julie.
Yeah.
If it's cheaper to go with Southwest Metro, and it isn't because of how much that costs if we send the students there.
So we would have to pay, the district would pay to send
Yeah.
the students to Southwest Metro more expensive than this. Yes.
Yep, we always have to look at least restrictive environment and where the student really falls, and we're looking at all of those programming needs for them, so.
Good point, thank you. All right, we do need to take action on
Yes,
this,
we do.
right, to formally approve you to hire these positions, so I need a motion. Mary, why don't you make that motion?
And we can-
There it is. This is, all right, so for the benefit of the public, a little context, and we have Councilwoman Mokel in attendance tonight, so she's keenly aware of this as well. The school board has historically, or at least for a number of years, I don't remember when this started, but for a number of years has had its election, like our city did, on odd years. There's a lot of rationale for that, some of which I happen to like a great deal. You don't get lost in the general election, et cetera, et cetera. But we are actually very unique in that regard. I want to say
44.
only 44 do it that
Correct.
way, out of
And that was,
350?
yeah.
and he was, that's a few months ago, so he was expecting more such as us
To change.
so.
So if you didn't follow, what Sarah was saying is that 44 school districts in the state of Minnesota out of 350.
Approximately 350.
All right, so roughly, let's say 80%, have elections on even years. So we are kind of an outlier in that regard. So that's a piece of context. And then it was later last year that the city recognized a desire probably to increase turnout at election, involvement in election, voter participation, et cetera. I'm gathering those are some of the reasons. Made a move to change the city elections to even years in the future. That leaves us as a school district in the odd year. Now, we can do that, but we'll be carrying a full vote, full rate ourselves. We'll be asking the public to go out and vote that extra time. And we felt as a board, I'm speaking sort of on behalf of the board at this point, that it's probably time to align ourselves, not just with our city compatriots, but with the rest of school districts and perhaps begin engage the public more so in terms of the election. So what we have in front of us, and we've had this now, so this is the formal first reading. We had this shared with us a while ago, but we have a formal first reading of a resolution. There's a formal process we have to go through. It's very regimented, the wording, that in essence has us change in the future our election cycle from odd years to even years. So the impact of this, without reading it word for word, the impact of this is that the next school board election, we're not talking about special elections, we're not talking about bond referendum, we're talking about election of the school board. The next scheduled election is 2017, odd years. By passing this resolution, we would change that to 2018, and subsequently the next one would have been 2019, would go to 2020. So what that in essence does is you don't short a board member who's been elected to a term, you end up adding a year. So those on the board who are up for re-election, should they so choose, in 2017 will actually now be up for re-election in 2018, and the 19 terms would go to 20. Is that a
That's it.
fair summation? All right. What questions or comments would the board like to throw in on that? Get something talkative.
Well, it's a tough question, right? I think we've all had conversations. The increased voter turnout's a very nice thing, but like you said, with the odd year, you got the people who were informed and well engaged in the election. I think what tipped my view in favor of going to the even years, when the city moved, it just makes sense. We can't ask the taxpayers to pay for our own election on odd years. It's just unreasonable to do all of that effort, spend all that money and all that effort just for our elections. So I think it makes sense. I think it's the right thing to do. I'm curious to see what happens to voter turnout in the next cycle.
Yeah, any other comments? We're not taking action tonight. This is the first reading, so we don't need to even do anything about that. Okay. All right, we will look for that to come up at our April meeting for a formal action. Okay, any additional new business at this point? Hearing none, we're actually going to adjourn the business meeting and then go into a learning session. We're going to take a break in between those. Bathroom break, a little food break, that kind of thing, if need be. So we have anything else business-wise?
No.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
So moved.
I heard Mary, second